Welcome everyone, it's the Crypto Lark, and today in the Token Tank we have Fabio from the Neon Exchange to discuss just what is going on with this exciting decentralized exchange. So let's get into it.
Today's Token Tank video is brought to you by Caleb & Brown. They're an award-winning digital currency brokerage registered with Austrac, and they offer services such as an over-the-counter trading desk, crypto security and wallet setup services, cryptocurrency education, and many more. They were founded in 2016 with a vision to become the conduit between the cryptocurrency industry and the financial services industry. They specialize in high-volume trading of digital currencies from $5,000 up to $100 million. Caleb & Brown services customers globally and is the only Australian-based brokerage that enables same-day trading of up to $2 million in purchases in most major fiat currencies. Head over to Caleb & Brown for special discounts and a free consultation for Token Tank viewers. What's going on, guys? My name is Alex, also known as Crypto Candor, and we are excited to welcome you to another episode of Token Tank. Here at the Token Tank, we invite a promising blockchain and crypto project to pitch or update their project to our panel of experts. Our panelists are focused solely on asking great questions to project founders so that you, our viewers, can make your own crypto calls. Today's panelists include the Crypto Lark, more than just the Lark of the blockchain, K-Dub, the hungriest zombie in the land, and Julian, the editor and founder of the Blockchain Brief. We are extremely excited to have Fabio of the Neon Exchange with us. Fabio, welcome to the Token Tank.
Thank you guys for having me. It's amazing.
Let's kick things off by having you give us an elevator pitch of NEX for our viewers.
Right. So NEX is all about trading. So currently there are many issues with crypto trading. To start, the best solutions are centralized, right? Coinbase, Binance, they are centralized. So getting out the irony on that, there's always going to be a security issue when you are a centralized platform, as we haven't seen it in many ways. Besides all that, let's say if they were decentralized and there was no security issue, most of the platforms today also are very hard to use. So a lot of the work that you guys do is actually clarifying the terms, explaining what things does and how things work. And if we really want to be these billion-person projects, then we need to get these things simpler. And that's the thing that NEX is going after. So NEX is developing technology for trading, for payments, and for everything that goes on the transactional side. So our vision is that every time someone does the transaction, NEX is there somewhere.
Very, very cool. Now, one thing that I wanted to jump into is really about the exchange itself and in terms of the order matching. So the order matching is actually going to be done off-chain, but then the orders will be filled on-chain. Now, are there any security concerns around actually doing that off-chain matching? And can you just give us a little more detail on how that's actually going to be working in practice?
Right. So we call it like matching engine. So there is actually many systems that together make the matching engine, but let's put it in two buckets. So there is the matching and the settlement system. So this is how NEX works. It's not how every matching engine works. So in NEX, the matching system only takes care of looking for orders and matching the correct pairs. The settlement system is actually a state channel management system. It's like opening a tab, and then after you open the tab, you can do many trades in NEX system. And whenever you are finished, you close it, and then the state channel is destroyed. So basically, it's what we call a multi-chain state channel system. So why we do that is because we don't want to hold the funds in a centralized database where the private key are and where someone can hack and get the funds from. But yes, there is some level of trust, which is the matching side. The matching side needs to be fair. Who said that we didn't match some order first than yours? So that's why in our white paper, we describe the provable fair part of NEX, which is how we're going to prove that the matching side is fair, and then the trades are settled through the settlement system.
Very, very cool.
Sure. That's awesome. So Fabio, as far as the scope of this exchange is concerned, we already have Switch.io right now, which is dealing primarily with NEP5 tokens. And we know that you're based on NEO. So are you guys also, how are you going to be compared to Switch.io? Are you dealing just with NEP5s, or do you have plans to expand into other ERC20s and possible even standalone native blockchains in the future?
And Bitcoin.
Right. Sure. So to start, NEX is multi-chain from the beginning. So the system I just described, the matching engine, it works with many chains. It's a state channel manager. So we are launching with Ethereum and NEO. These are the biggest platforms right now. They have the most projects, regardless of the issues they have. But the idea here is that the NEX business should not be dependent of any chain. And for the user using NEX, he shouldn't actually know the chains at all. He should just be using the system. And the price of the token of the platform should reflect the state of the platform. We do have a special care for NEO, as I said, as people know, we are from the NEO community. So we will do whatever we can to make it a success, but NEX itself is not tied to it.
So are you concerned that the long-term success of NEO will affect the exchange? Is there any dependence on NEO in general?
No, the only dependence on NEO would be that the NEX token runs on the NEO platform. But like many other projects did token swap, we could do a token swap also, but I don't think NEO is going to have problems in the long run.
Okay. So Fabio, upon launch, you mentioned ERC20s and NEP5s. Which tokens in particular and how many tokens do you plan on having at launch?
Right, so just a few tokens, probably 5 or 6. The reason is we want to concentrate on the most important first to get everything right. And then there will be a clear process how to get listed. One thing that is really important that every token that enters on NEX needs to go through a legal review. This legal review is mostly because different tokens require different licenses. So we need to be in line for everything. And also, as we want to expand the market, that means getting people that is not very familiar with crypto, we kind of need to protect them from the next big connect, you know.
That's true.
Definitely.
You certainly want to list BitConnect on your exchange without a doubt. Now, in terms of actually making money, I just want to actually follow up here because you did mention, the listing of new tokens. Is there going to be a listing fee? I mean, Binance quite famously has an exorbitant, giant fee to list a project on their exchange. And also about fees, the maker and taker fee that you're charging, where do those fees go? Is that going back to NEX, to the guys running the blockchain essentially?
Right. So our model is not to have listing fees. Is the legal fee for the review, and the fees collected on the trading side to a pool. We call this a fee pool, and the pool actually is waiting every month for distribution. So people holding NEX, they can stake the token, and if you stake for 1 month, you have right to 25%. For 2 years, 75%. So every month when you enter in the NEX system, you have a claim to do. So you can claim the staked portion of the tokens. So these fees are then redistributed.
So I noticed that you guys are really concerned about regulation moving forward. Obviously, you've recently been approved by the Financial Market Authority of Liechtenstein, correct?
Yeah,
big news, right? That's huge.
Yeah.
So can we can we kind of dive into the significance of that and how that actually is going to really truly separate what you're doing from the competitors, and then how in turn that's going to affect your listings and the tokens that we deal with in the future? And one more thing, how that will affect the average user such as myself, especially US-based citizens, for example.
Right, sure. So first thing, so there are many benefits. So the first benefit is the security, the legal security for the user. Like if you have the token, you don't need to be afraid that 1, 2 years, maybe 5, 10 years in the future, this is going to be tagged as infringing the securities law. And then from one day to the other, your token values nothing, right? So that's too much legal danger in the project that we wanted to remove. Second, by being a security and the token sale itself to be selling the security, we do need to have audits, we do need to have oversight, And we do need to follow that. So people buying the token know that we are actually being checked for everything that we say we do, right? So we do not only need to do it to appear well in the front of people, we need to do it to not go to jail.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, not a bad reason at all.
Third thing, it's where the industry is going. So every week or every month of this year, there was something related to securities on the news. Be it some of our competitors pursuing securities licenses, be it some projects fearing being tagged of the security license, be it security regulators doing announcements about tokens. So by clearing this out, we actually have a much clearer path how to proceed on the platform also. So the products we're going to offer, how we're going to offer them is much clearer, because the approval process involves that. So we actually did a full description of how and which projects do we want to run, which licenses do we need for, and then we get the feedback from, is this okay, is this not okay, do we need a different license to do this or not? So to get these approvals, it takes time, and was actually also a leap of faith from Liechtenstein. These guys were great, because they need to be overcautious on how to proceed this, because this is the first in Europe, so they don't want pushbacks from the European Securities and Markets Commissions. So for this to be done, needed to be really step by step and with really cautious and everything. I'm sure this will be much easier for the second one. It will be like we pay the price for the industry, but we do have, we do believe the benefits are worth it. Like I still want to do NEX in 5 years. So,
Fabio, can you talk a little bit more, or just about those different product offerings that you're talking about? So there's the crypto-to-crypto trading, the crypto securities, the prime brokerage tools, the inter-exchange. I'm assuming that's all also tied back to the regulatory stuff. So if you wouldn't mind just kind of diving into those different product offerings and where you're at with those, that would be great.
Right, sure. So we are launching first with the funds management part, which involves keeping your tokens. So the first thing is, NEX wants to be this exchange where you can keep your tokens, okay? So you don't need to do a transaction out to your wallet. It's there already. So when you have that, then you actually need to spend that token. Like you have tokens to invest and you have tokens to spend. So NEX has this payment side, which is allowing people to spend the tokens they already have at NEX. So that's where the extension enters and everything. So we are launching first with the tokens crypto trading. Then we go spend a little bit on Fiat's on and off ramp. These are not Fiat markets, but just a way for users to acquire and sell crypto. Then a little bit farther, we add the payment layer. And after we add the payment layers, we want to wrap everything together. So the user experience of on and off ramp can be almost similar to the payments side. So you can just buy tokens.
So you were discussing the Fiat gateway sort of by having the ability to do that in the future, maybe not immediately out of the gate. And you've mentioned in the white paper, I saw something about banking partnerships in the future. So are there any regulatory issues that you're worried about there? What are your biggest hurdles, I guess, with creating that gateway?
So there's no regulatory issue, actually, because we work with partners that already do that. So our take is we bring new volume to these partners, and in exchange, they offer the services through us. So the idea here is that these people already have the licenses they need for, and these are not banks, okay? So these are remittance companies, these are payment processing companies that already use crypto behind the scenes. Maybe people don't even know they use crypto. And the banking partnership, the banking side is more for institutional traders and liquidity providers. These guys, they need to have a banking connection to move huge amounts of money.
Now, just to follow up on the fiat question, you are did get that agreement with Liechtenstein. Does that mean you're only going to be doing euros in terms of fiat, or are we also going to see dollars and yen and pounds and a wider range of fiat currencies on offer?
No,
I was actually curious as well, as far as as far as with like Coinbase, you know, like how do you see yourself competing with the likes of, you know, guys like that?
Yeah, exactly. So Coinbase, they are doing the integrated side, right? So they do the fiat on and off themselves. We are not doing ourselves. We are empowering others. So that's how actually we allow ourselves to serve like the world. Anyone that is legit, has the licenses and do fiat on and off ramps today can provide the API. So we have a specification of the API that we need to NEX and partner with NEX to attract new volume. So this way we are kind of a marketplace of fiat ramps and not just a single entity that does everything.
That's the idea behind a decentralized exchange. Go ahead, Julian.
Exactly. Because we are decentralized, so we cannot do the fiat side either way.
So Fabio, I'd love to have you dive in a little bit more on the liquidity side, just because I think, I mean, as you know, and I think all of us know, DEXs notoriously have low liquidity. So
great question.
On your guys' end, how do you plan on addressing that?
Right. So first, it's not only DEXs, right? 90% of the exchanges have bad liquidity.
Touche.
So I don't think it's only being a DEX that's the issue. So we have many plans. The first one is being the best user experience for all the users. And when I say all the users, it's not only retail, but high frequency traders, institutional liquidity providers, they also need to have a great user experience. And the plan B is to have the best user experience for all the payments side. So the users doing and receiving payments. And the third plan is to have the best user experience for the fiat on and off ramps. So all these components, they actually feed back into the DEX system and they end up as transactions on the matching engine. And that's how we try to drive liquidity. So liquidity should not come only from the pure exchange, but from the other services also. And that's why actually we don't charge a fee on the other services, because they feed back on the exchange.
I like your view on that, you know, thinking that if you build something that's user-friendly and is easy and makes it more accessible for people, that they will come and that liquidity won't be an issue. It's a confident way to look at things, but I like your thought.
Yeah,
no, Fabio,
so this is not only easy. Maybe it can be really hard to use, but if it's really hard, it's for the people that should be hard, you know, for the common users to be easy. So it's offering user experience for all the users that we have.
That's really important, because I think user experience is really the only thing that most people care about. You know, you could preach tech all day, but if it's difficult, I'm going to go to the other one that's simpler, right?
Yep.
So
That's right.
The question that I had also, since you guys are a regulated security token officially, we've seen centralized exchanges like Binance. Recently, they've actually made it where the BNB token is now being available on other exchanges as well. But because you guys are taking the route that you're taking, does that mean that the next token is going to be specific just to your exchange, or will it eventually be traded on other exchanges as well?
No, it eventually will be on other exchanges, but we only talk with the exchanges that are acquiring or have the license to do so. So unfortunately, none of these players have launched it yet, as you guys would probably be already knowing. But the ones that do not have the license, we are not pursuing that. Of course, it's blockchain. We cannot block them to adding the token itself. But people will be trading OTC right off the gate. And when these platforms come online, include NEX, right? NEX is on the same bucket, then people will be able to trade there.
Nice. I want to know a little bit about the money. We haven't talked about that yet. Holding a NEX token, you get a dividend. What's that dividend going to look like? How often is it paid out? And how much can I theoretically get? Let's say I've got, 1,000 NEX tokens. Well, what's that actually going to mean for me on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly kind of basis? What might I be looking at?
Right. So the dividend part is is very simple. You enter in the platform and you stake it. There's a process there, and when you stake, you just go through a slider. You decide from 1 month to 2 years. If you put 1 month, you receive 25% of the fees, and if you go to 2 years, you receive 75% of the fees. So these are the fees we talked before, but the idea here is that the fees goes to the users. And how much is that is totally dependent on volume. So if you are a NEX holder, you should bring volume to us because you're going to benefit on that.
So what other go-to-market strategies do you have to sort of build out more of that user adoption and more liquidity onto the platform?
So we have many ideas, and we just want to watch the competition struggle while we work on that.
Any of those ideas that you can share?
Any of those that you're privy to share?
Not right now.
Well, if we could, if we can't talk about that, that's fine. I'm always down for a good surprise. I wanted to just ask one more question in regards to what Lark was talking with the token. So you explained the staking model. Is the token purely designed just for staking, or does it also have some sort of a voting governance right that comes along with holding the NEX as well?
Right. So no, it does not have the voting rights that comes with it. It's designed pure for dividends, but we do gonna work on the community side. So if you have a stake in NEX, you should have some kind of say. So these people will help us on which coins we should list, how we should approach something. So there will be for sure a NEX community that these people will be part of.
So and that's something that you really have to worry about. Well, sorry, Alex, a little time delay on my end, but I just wanted to say too, we've seen so much manipulation with the Binance voting systems. You know, you'll see coins last minute just getting pumped out of nowhere. People say it's unfair. What's the point? If you do choose to do a type of community voting system, have you considered these types of manipulations with the votes?
Yeah, of course. So that's why I say NEX holder and they will have a say. So again, they cannot choose because these projects need to go through review, regardless of if the community wants or not. If they are not a proper project from the legal side, we cannot do anything, right? But we do want to hear back. So it's a feedback mechanism. And I do not think having people pay to vote and it's a good mechanic, you know. As you said, it don't seem to be working.
So my favorite question, which I actually saw a lot on Twitter when I told them that we were going to have you guys on the Token Tank, I see that you released your the NEX Alpha for the Google Chrome plugin, and that's going to work in unison with the exchange. Will there be hardware wallet support for the Ledger or the Trezor on that in the future?
Right. So there's one issue here is that these solutions do not provide the technology that we need. So for NEX, we use a signing feature, which is very different. It's like how we ship the keys is different also. So we cannot actually use these hardware wallets as they are now, maybe in the future. The extension itself is one part of these products. It's mainly on the payment side. But you'll be able to access the platform without the extension also. You'll be able to log in it as you log in a normal centralized exchange. So the feeling NEX gives is quite familiar. So if you open the extension, it's actually almost the same. You have a username, password also. Mm-hmm. So, but you'll be able to do that on the website the same way without the extension. But the extension does allow you to interact with dApps and other things. So if you try the alpha that you said, the alpha itself is a dApp, right? When you have the extension, it enables the website and you do transactions and so on.
Nice. Will you be offering mobile options as well? Because a lot of people, you know, it's complicated bringing your laptop around with you everywhere. So will you be looking into mobile opportunities as well? I mean, that's how a lot of people will probably in the future honestly use your exchange.
Yes, for sure. 200%. Not this year because there's a lot of work and we are working with the best on that side also. But next year, you'll be seeing NEX Mobile.
I want to follow up on a customer service question, actually. I mean, we know that one of the biggest things that a lot of exchanges have to deal with is actually, going through the KYC, onboarding new customers. We saw back in December, basically every major exchange had to shut down onboarding new customers. And they're also getting swamped with questions like, what's a private key, and all these different things. So how are you anticipating meeting that demand of the customers, and how much of your time and resources are you going to be dedicating towards good customer service?
Right. So I think good customer service is cornerstone. Is the reason for success for Amazon. Amazon was just a bookstore but had great customer service. So I think that there are many sides for this. If we acquire new users in new markets, they're gonna have a different profile for customer service than the current users we have. So the way we're gonna have a team for customer service. This is unavoidable, and then the platform itself is very tested. So we are very proud of our design process. Is what we call user-centric design. So everything is actually asked to the user, and we see how the user behaves. Then we iterate on the design. So this in itself helps solve a lot of these user issues, like understanding the platform. But the platform itself should be self-explanatory. So you also avoid, it's like a funnel, you have many questions, you decrease a bit, then you decrease a bit more. Then at the bottom, you have the team that does custom service.
So, oh, sorry, Julian, go ahead.
Go ahead. Floor is yours.
As far as customer service goes, obviously, UI, you said, is very important, and being useful, being easy for people. So because that's such a priority for you guys, do you see IDEX or Ether Delta being a strong competition, or do you feel like you're going to be kind of in a league of your own?
No, I think in the service they provide us is nothing like we are aiming for. So we are aiming for the Coinbases of life. And we don't say that because of the profit they have or the volume they have, but because of the experience users have when they enter there. So we want to be a better experience there. So why people, if you are to recommend today for a new user to join crypto, say, hey, you should buy this Bitcoin. What do you recommend? That should be next. You don't go today and say, hey, first time you're using, hey, use IDEX. That doesn't help.
Yeah, no, that would not be a good recommendation.
No. I have users that literally watch my channel that have been following me for months that still don't know how to use IDEX. So yeah. it's not simple. For,
it needs to be easy. It needs to be easy, and that's where any exchange is going to be able to win. How can you make it user friendly enough that my grandma can use it?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. Is the proposal they are aiming for, and they have that niche. But that's not the niche that NEX is going after. Yeah.
So Fabio, I wanted to shift the conversation a little bit. Usually this isn't my kind of question, but we've covered so much of the tech and how we're using the NEX token. I want to ask a little bit about your sale in particular. For example, we do have IDEX, which is up and running, and they didn't have a token sale, but you did. So, for example, what exactly do you guys plan on doing with these funds that you're raising?
Right. So there's a lot of things. For example, if we want to operate in US trading security tokens, we need to acquire a broker-dealer license in US. So we need funds to acquire broker-dealer license. If we want to do the same in Europe, in Korea, in Japan, we also need to do the same. So lots of these funds will go to this, which is not sexy stuff, and our other part is development. So we currently have 20 people on the exchange, which is less than I wanted, and we need to quadruple the number of people to actually deliver on the promise that we have. So these funds go to pay people and to pay the legal and to pay the processes that we need to go through.
Fabio, okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Fabio.
These processes, sometimes they are very cumbersome and so slow that you actually need to acquire another company that already has the license for, and it's it's very complex process. And this has been seen in our competitors itself. So they have gone through the same thing.
So Fabio, now that you guys have secured the license from the FMA, what are some other things that just keep you up at night right now? Because I know that was a very, very long, arduous process, and we didn't really have like a time horizon for it. So what's the next thing that sort of keeps you up? Other than working all the time.
Execution. We need to deliver. People expect us to deliver the best, and we need to deliver the best. That's why it's 1:30 and we are working.
Got it. Very good. Well, guys, I think we have time for one more question before we have to sign off here.
We touched on a lot of things, but we didn't really touch on the future. So, coming up, what partnerships are in the pipeline that you're allowed to talk about? I guess, what are the things that you're most excited about? And what do we have to look forward to, the end of this year, maybe Q1 of 2019?
Right. So end of this year is the platform going live. Yeah, it's true. We finally going to announce some partners we have. And these involve like major VCs from US, Fiat providers, liquidity providers. So we have great people together with us, and everybody will know their names in just a couple of weeks. For the beginning of next year, I would say is still a lot of work on the exchange. So we want to refine it the best as we can. And then you will start to see our strategies to acquire new markets. So it will, like 2018 is building and 2019 is growing.
Fantastic. And when's the launch date?
Launch date, yeah. Don't ask that. That's too hard.
That's a sneaky question, Julian.
Like software development is very hard to predict times. So September is a quite important month for us. So we are finishing everything, like the system is working, have tested, but now it starts the details, and sometimes the devil is on the details, right? So we are doing security review. We have great companies working with us that they do paint testing, look at the architecture and so on. After security review, we want to fine-tune things with the user. So we have a pool of testers, and they go through the interfaces and testing and seeing what the issues are. So let's say September, we have the base. Then from there, we fine-tune it and we launch when it is ready. So this is quite important, Julian. That's a great question, because we don't believe that should be a NEX version 2. The same way there's no Google version 2, it should work for what's intended when it's launched, and we continue to refine it. Like it will never be done.
A good tech takes
Great. Good answer. All right, cool. Thank you so much, Fabio, for joining us. We really appreciated it.
No, thank you guys. It was great. Great questions.
All right, guys. So what's the deal? What are our thoughts on NEX?
It's hot. I like it.
I know.
That dividend model's crazy.
On it. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that everyone was worried about was just how dependent it would be on NEO, right? And I think there's been a lot of noise out there on what's going on NEO, but clearly that's not the case. So the fact that they're completely independent, I think, is actually a good sign.
Yeah,
they just want to build the best platform, right? Like
yeah.
they just really want to build the best platform for an exchange.
I was getting a lot of those questions on Twitter.
I covered this a while ago. It was actually one of the first ICO videos I ever did, because I really just hated covering ICOs back in the day. But something about NEX really drew me to it. And after this conversation, this is so much more than just another decentralized exchange. This is clearly something bigger than IDEX. And the fact that they are the first regulated token, and they already have the thing with Liechtenstein, and they're working towards other bank licenses or whatever they have to do to move forward, I think that this is definitely going to be one of those serious projects. I mean, if you go on their website, their mission statement literally says NEX's mission is to empower more than 1 billion users to invest, trade, and manage digital assets by 2030. I mean, that's how far ahead these guys are looking.
And just think, if you're getting 75% of the fees, right? Holy cow.
Yeah, I was impressed by he seemed to have all of his questions were like so well thought out and long-term. And like Julian, you said the word methodical earlier, and it's definitely that's spot on. I just like the way he seems to be thinking about this. He said you know, I'm going to be doing this for at least the next 5 years. And I don't really think a lot of people just come out of the gate and say that normally in this space.
Yep.
Yeah, we see a lot of like, you know, presidents jumping ship like a month after the ICO, like, okay, ICO finished, I'm out of here. You know?
Yeah. So
the one thing that I am concerned with, though, specifically is still liquidity. And I know it sounds very promising. I know they seem to have it all figured out with the staking model. But a lot of these little guys, you know, when you get a big whale that's staking, they're getting their dividends. They don't care. But the little guy who's got $100 worth of this, if he sees another opportunity, a better 10x, he's probably going to just get rid of those, you know. And I am worried about the liquidity regardless. But moving forward, they seem like they have a good mechanism in set to go for this. So hopefully, if they can tackle the liquidity issue,
yeah, that's the real key. I mean, and his answer was kind of like, we're just going to do it. It's going to be awesome. It's like, well, yeah, the actual proof will be in the pudding in terms of will you actually be able to provide that liquidity on your exchange and where everyone else has failed. Maybe they've been working with the right partners, getting all that right pieces put in, but let's see it in action, right?
Speaking of the partners, I'm excited to see who they are going to be. He was very, very mysterious about that. I think the fact that he was, though, I feel like that means it's something good, but I don't want to get too excited too soon. So.
I agree with you. I agree with you. All right. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Token Tank. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and also leave your comments down below, and we will see everyone next week.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Token Tank. Let us know what you think about NEX down below in the comments section. Thumbs up the video and share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Join the conversation over on Twitter, Telegram, or Steam it. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.